All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Going to be touching on the top prop bets today in the NBA on both PrizePicks and Underdog. Also going to be giving you guys some prop bets to go ahead and use with the James Harden Pi Day free square. Not exactly sure why they chose him, but interesting enough. But yeah, we're going to be trying to find some good prop bets to go with that. The issue today is that the board is extremely tight as I'm recording this video. Really not getting that many good prop bets, which maybe will be a good thing after the last 2 days or so where it hasn't been good. That being said, obviously a bounce back day going to happen here soon. We are getting enough like good bets, I think, for NBA in general, like better bets for FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, you know, those type of sports books, but we're not getting that many edges on PrizePicks or Underdog today. So I want to do more of like a game by game breakdown somewhat. The first spot I want to touch on is actually going to be Chicago, guys. We're not getting any prop bets for this just yet, but once we do, I want you guys to be prepared for that. So Kobe White is out. Obviously, Zach LaVine is out. And so we look at the production with Kobe White and Zach LaVine out. In terms of usage, AO gets about a 4% bump in usage. We can see the minutes that he got last game against Indy. That was obviously last night as well. Played pretty well, 20 points in that game, 1 for 4 from 3. Not exactly great there, but he is someone that does average about 2.7 more points per 36 with those players off the court. So you could put his average at about, let's just say, 13 points then. And so I'm curious where his lines are going to come out to be. Does get about a rebound more per 36 as well. You look at DeMar DeRozan, he is actually someone that gets a massive bump in his usage rate with Kobe White and Zach LaVine off the court. 6.2, averages about 4.4 more fantasy points per 36. Just went off in the last game, averages about 3.6 more points per 36. So, you know, that's something we should be paying attention to as well. And then also looking at Nikola Vucevic, he actually gets the biggest bump in usage, which was surprising to me, and averages about 8 more points per 36. So I actually think he's going to be the one that we're going to be looking at the most, specifically because he's probably just going to get a few more shot attempts up. So I did want to touch on that because I do think that's going to be one of the bigger edge spots that we get. But also I want to call out another spot that we have. This is kind of the portion of the season, guys, where NBA lineups are getting shuffled in and out. It's going to be weird stuff like rotation wise and whatnot. The one spot that it does seem like we are gaining a decent edge on to me is actually looking at OG, whether you want to do points at 12.5 or points, rebounds, and assists at 18.5. I think those are both good edges. So like if you are betting on something, let's say like BetMGM, FanDuel, DraftKings, you know, this I think would be the better bet for you, just because we look at his projected minutes, they're at 35. To me, that could be something we want to target, and I'll get into this in a second. But points prop is going to be a little bit better on both PrizePicks and Underdog, and so I called that out because for the past like 2 months he was out. And so we saw heavy minutes to Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. They all played very well. OG came back for his first game in about 2 months. Ended up playing 29 minutes, and that game was a blowout. Now, don't get me wrong, this matchup against Portland will probably be a blowout as well. But if you're telling me he's going to still get 29 minutes in a blowout after coming in off of an injury, I mean, that's one, it's not a shock, but like we are getting some extremely cheap lines if that's going to be the case. And so I don't mind the over points. I don't mind the over points, rebounds, and assists. Both of those seem to be pretty big edges, especially given the matchup that we have. I'm a little bit shocked at those lines that we were getting. To me, that seems like a decent edge for someone that was consistently doing that when he first arrived in New York as well. So I think that's an edge that we are getting there. So that is one of my favorite bets, just like across the board. Again, though, that kind of points to the slate that we have. I'm using Underdog right now. PrizePicks is going to be the same edge. 53.9% chance. Like that's the best bet that I think we have in NBA, and the data is kind of relaying that same message as well. So kind of a tighter slate in that regard. Then some other spots, like we should be able to like stack Houston versus Washington. Decently high scoring game, 7.5 point spread, like starting to get into blowout territory. That's when I start to worry about it, is like 7 points or so. But like looking at it, everyone thought Thompson would be the one that would benefit DFS wise on the last slate. He was extreme chalk in NBA DFS, really failed a lot of people. He was bad going against Washington. You would hope he would get there. Denny is someone that, you know, typically will get the over here. Maybe in a game stack we can use him. Dylan Brooks, as you guys probably know, chalked on the last slate. His fantasy score went up like I think 2 by lineup lock, and he didn't even get close again. That's very unfortunate there. Kyle Kuzma, I actually don't mind this line. 35.5, that does seem vastly too low, especially for someone that is going to be playing a lot of center minutes. He's actually been a little bit more consistent there, scoring a little bit more, getting a little bit more rebounds. So I don't mind the lines that we're getting for him. Seems to be a slight edge. Fred VanVleet, I don't know if I exactly need to get there for Houston. Tyus Jones, again, I don't know if I exactly need to get there. Jabari Smith Jr., I mean, this is an extremely high line for him. He is someone that last game. Had a terrible first half, like nothing going, and then really went off in the second half against the San Antonio Spurs. So tough to say for sure. I will say he is someone that you would expect to step up with Sengun off the court. Can we trust him though? Probably not. So like I get why the lines are here, and the lines are all high enough. Like Jalen Green is the player that statistically speaking benefits the most usage wise with Sengun off the court, but we are just not getting any edges there. So the slate is tighter than I would like. I will say we are still waiting on some other news here really for the Clippers. Harden and Lillard, obviously they're out. Paul George going to be massive bump in usage. Terrence Mann as well. Looking at that for Boston, Porzingis is out. Jaylen Brown could be out as well. We've seen that time and time again. The lines are going to be adjusted properly there. So we just look at the best prop bets that we are getting right now on Underdog. Again, I don't really like using the blocks or turnovers. So to me, I'm looking at Jalen Green for over 3.5 assists. Again, with Sengun off the court, like that should be a good line that we are getting there. I agree that that's a good EV bet. Now this is for Underdog only, but still not a bad one. And then we're getting to SGA over 5.5 rebounds. Again, a slight edge, but still a good enough bet for us. And then we look at Devin Booker for over his points. We're seeing a 1 prop line difference between PrizePicks and Underdog. So those are good bets on Underdog. Let's show you guys what it is for PrizePicks. And guys, I'm doing this video a little bit earlier. That's why I'm using Underdog, because typically they have more lines available. And you guys are going to see the best prop bet that we have for PrizePicks is going to be OG for over his points at 12.5. So I do think we're going to use that one. From there, Josh Giddey for over rebounds. We can see the projection data has it set at 6.7. Underdog has bumped this up to 7 at 6.5. That's a good prop bet. Again, that's probably going to be bumped by the time most of you guys get here. And then from there, like we are getting, again, like just very tight lines. And so it's really tough to give you guys a great bet because we just don't have them. Full disclosure. So let's check out some other sports that we have. Do want to get into a little bit of college basketball, trying to see if we're getting any edges. And we kind of are a little bit so more in the normal stat department. I'm so confused at this slide that we're getting for Boone at rebounds and assists. Like why are they doing that? I don't. They don't want it to be a push. Is that really what's going on here with Boone? That's interesting, right? Like what? Why? I don't know. That's fascinating. Like it should be. That's a good bet to bet the under there. Wow. I'm very shocked at that actually. And so I do think that's a prop bet that we're going to want to target. We also are seeing we're getting a slight edge here for Afton Reed for college basketball for over 6.5 rebounds. Again, Underdog has already bumped this up to 7, so another seemingly decent edge that we are getting there. And it's crazy, we're not really getting that many good fantasy score prop bets. Typically that is our biggest edge, which I'm kind of thankful for, because I do think that with these players, with the teams and whatnot playing in their conference tournaments, heading into March Madness, we are going to see it be actually more difficult to predict. And I actually probably want to be chasing the fantasy scores where they're favored for the over more so. But yeah, we're not really getting that many edges there fantasy score wise for PrizePicks. That's just not there. And I'll show you guys the lines for Underdog real quick. Again, for these 1.5 ones where it's being favored as a push, I don't feel the need to target those. We are seeing a pretty good one for Polzin for over rebounds and assists, 8.5. The projection data likes that at 10.8. This is about a 54.7% chance that is obviously pretty good there. Let's see. Any other ones that are popping up? Points here for Mason, 10.5. Again, the projection data really likes that. So, and Underdog has already bumped this to 11. So we are probably going to get some edges throughout the day, guys. Just be on the lookout for that when the data is updating throughout the day. Let's jump into some NHL again. Trying to find some prop bets for you guys to use with that James Harden pie prop bet. Now, if we get some good ones, I'm probably going to tweet out to you guys what those are. So follow the 9to5 Twitter account, because right now we just aren't getting those as I would like them. Like we got two. We got 2. I would love to give you guys 5. We're looking at NHL, really nothing there as well. Let's get into the discrepancies. I'll show you guys some golf props, but I don't really see any big edges right now golf prop wise as well. So discrepancies, I mean a little bit here. MMA, fight time minutes, something, significant strikes. I mean a little bit of prop line differences there. Aces maybe. It's just not enough for me to really be gung-ho about giving you guys those bets. So not enough really there for me discrepancy wise today. So let's go and jump into some golf props. So yeah, golf wise, we are still getting a lot of the same prop bets that we had throughout the week. I was wondering if we would get some like big stroke prop line differences like during the round, because right now there's a lot of golfers going off, shooting low that are early in the round, which kind of should be expected. So like maybe Scotty Scheffler for over his strokes on Underdog would be actually a decent one. That's the thing. I think No, this is actually not bad. Ricky for under his strokes. That's not terrible, I would say. Kyle Morikawa, that's not terrible. Again, like the strokes prop line difference should never be more than like a half a stroke. So slight edges there. I mean, if we had a force in the bet, that would be what we could roll with there. And that's about it. That's about it, guys. And I did just get a quick refresh in for the college basketball props that we are getting. I will include these on the bet of the day today. Again, you guys know I typically don't like to include these, but with how tight of a slate is today, and with how kind of slow PrizePicks has been to update their lines, maybe they won't. So I do want to kind of make it clear that these are going to be good bets. All right, so getting to the bet of the day. Again, I do kind of like this OG prop. That should be one that hits, especially if he's going to continue to get a little bit more minutes than probably anyone would have expected coming in off of an injury. Going with the fantasy score prop bet, we'll see if that one hits today. It's the best one that we have. And then just taking advantage of those EV bets that we have in college basketball today. Again, I gave you guys the breakdown for NBA for when we get some of those props as well. Hopefully we get some good edges there. But that's gonna be all for today's video. Make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Good luck today, and as always, guys, let's keep cashing.